So I'm about to get messy. This is an 8x8 sheet from my Junk and Disorderly journal. This is hot pressed watercolour paper. It's 300 GSM, which is about £140. And I have my seldom used Dilutions sprays. This is Tangerine Dream. I have Cherry Pie, and I also have Fresh Lime. Now, as these haven't been used for quite some time, they no longer spray, which is fine, because that's not what I want to do with them today. I'm going to take the colour and I'm going to drop it and splatter it onto the page. And I don't mind if I actually get bigger drips. I want lots and lots of colour on this page. So this is the Tangerine. Just try and soak up some of that excess. When you want it to drop, it's not dropping properly, but never mind. Now the red. I suppose I could have used a pipette, couldn't I? That probably would be better. Let me see if I can find one and I'll be right back. Et voila. It took a while to find them, but I finally got it, so much better. Much better. So that's cherry. Let's get that tangerine one. I'm gonna lots and lots of colour. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz the page with water and really let's see if we can activate. So while they're doing that, let me grab that red again. We can start dropping some more of that colour in. I just love those splashy effects. I'm going to let that sit for a little while before I even start moving it, so it can soak into the background. Let's see what will happen if we just leave that for a little while. Okay, so I have a little bit of an apology to make. While I was tidying up and moving and drying this, I accidentally spritzed, which is what you can see here. So I'm going to do it again just so you can see exactly what happens. And I'm just going to leave it. Well, I say leave it, I'm going to dry it. Okay, so you can see where the water droplets have landed and it's lifted that pigment from off the card. So now we have that, I'm going to take that green, the fresh lime, and I'm going to do the same thing now. I'm aware that I'm mixing green and red, which historically, yes, it turns things brown, which is fine because we've got reds, so browns will work just as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of those greens into the areas where we have white. And then we'll get a little bit of contrast and darkness when I spritz. So it's all going to run to the middle. All about variation. Just look a little bit of white in this corner here, so let's just try and encourage that to run down around the edges. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to stop the drying process there. I'm going to take a little bit of towel and I'm just going to lift up that remaining few spots. I don't want them to get any darker, so I'm happy with that kind of mottling that we've got. And I think that's pretty much going to be as dry as it's going to get. I'll just give it a quick blast just in case. Okay, so that's pretty dry, or as dry as I think we're going to get it for the time being. I'm now going to remove it from my cloth and just drop my pipettes out of the way. Put the lids back on all my inks. And I'm really happy with the way that green has kind of picked up all those areas, so a nice kind of variation in colour. So let's get rid of that cloth. And then I'm going to grab a wet wipe and just quickly go around to make sure everything's kind of cleanish. He says cleaning his desk quickly. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a wet wipe and we're going to start ghosting. So I have a stencil. Hello Mr. Bentley Booze. Guess who's come to visit. And I'm just going to lay that over and then just gently rub through the stencil. And then we should start to get some nice kind of ghosting effect. Of course, it's going to wick, and we're going to leave it to do its thing. And then grab some kitchen roll and then just dab over. perfect. So we now need some more stencils. So I'm just going to go grab some of my stencils from my stash and I'll be right back. So ghosted text and numbers is always a good thing to have. So I have the numeric stencil from Tim Holtz. So I'm going to, and I have another clean wet wipe. So I'm going to go over and just rub see what we can remove. Just gently rub in circles. It's not bringing a huge amount off, to be honest. I think my watercolour paper is extremely absorbent. Or my wet wipe isn't wet enough. Let's just revitalise it a little. I don't want to rub too hard because I don't want the paper to pill. I suppose this is probably where bleach would have probably been a better idea. But we're getting some really, really nice kind of texture coming through. I hope you can see that. I'm going to do one more up this side. Let's see if we can make the wet wipe even wetter. Let's wet that surface. And this time I'm going to grab a piece of kitchen towel . Let's see if we can pick up more colour by doing that. There we go. How cool. Let's see if we can lift a bit more. Excellent stuff. It's very juicy, kind of colour-rich page. Very vibrant. So I'm going to give that a quick blast with the heat gun. So as you can see, as it's dried, it's all started to come out a lot more prominent into the background. I love that, absolutely love it. You can see those dots, which is absolutely cool. Right, so the next step, I think, is I'm going to bring in my Steampunk Heart stencil. And I think for this, I'm also going to bring in a darker colour. I'm going to go get some archival ink and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have potting soil, brown. So that's going to go with the warm colours that we have in there. So I'm going to load up my ink blending tool. And then I'm going to actually, I'm just wondering whether or not actually using Vintage Photo Distress Oxide might be better. What do we think? Yes, let's use that instead. See, doing it on the fly. So where's my other tool? There it is. Okay, so I've got the Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. I'm going to take off that Archival ink one. So I've got clean blending foam on there, and I've already got my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, and I'm going to start applying the oxide Probably would be better if I wasn't reaching over myself all the time. See how it's going through the stencil quite nicely. Now, while that's still wet, I'm going to go over the top. Obviously very, very quick to dry on there. Not quite as dark as I'd hoped. So, as we can, because we have the perfect placing tool just to go straight back over the top again, I can swap out for that potting soil and then go back over the top. And that theoretically should darken everything back up again. So if the stencil moves slightly, it doesn't really make that much difference. We're getting there. Okay. Just going to leave that to dry for a few minutes and then I'll be right back. The thing that I like about playing and experimenting with different techniques, ideas about combining colours together is that you never really know what you're going to get. It's like a complete kind of who knows, suck it and see kind of thing, and I love that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean this stencil back off again. So I'm going to clean it and dry it, and then I'm going to grab some washi tape and then I'm going to stick the stencil back down in place over the top, like so. And then I'm going to use a Signo pen to go around and try and draw in some white highlights. So I'm just going to go clean the stencil and I'll be right back. Okay, so washi tape. Stencil's clean. I'm just going to try and drop the stencil back over. I'm not particularly bothered if it's slightly out, but I want it as near as I can. But I'm not going to stress too much if it is out. I'm just going to put some washi tape in the corners just to kind of hold it down. And what might be cool is if when I take the washi tape off, it's actually taken some of the colour off and left 4 kind of corner decorations. That would be kind of cool if it did that. I'm not holding my hopes up too much though. Okay, so a white Signo Uniball Rollerball opaque pen kind of thing, Mitsubishi Pencil Co. And I'm going to go around and just add in and draw in around the stencil. Now I'm aware that because I've used dilutions that it will probably reactivate colour and then darken the pen ink. I don't mind that. All I'm looking for is a kind of contrasty, even if it's only 1% lighter, it will have done its job. Oh, Mr. Bentley's back again. And what can I do for you, my little four-legged friend? You going to talk today? Or are you just going to stick your nose in my trash can? No, he's just going to stick his nose in my trash can. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you being my friend? Eh? I think he is. I've just put a joint of beef in the oven. And all of a sudden he's my best pal. Won't leave me alone. I can't think why. Are you going to sit up on your chair then? Eh? Okay, this is going to take quite a while. And obviously it's not very interesting for you guys. Shush! What are you barking at? You're just making your presence known because nobody can see you. Oh, you brought your teddy up. Oh! There you go. Now sit down and play with your teddy. Right, as I was just going to say, because this is a repetitive thing and it's going to take a while for me to do, I will just carry on doing this, but for you, I'll join you again once it's finished. Okay, that's the last of it. Like I said, I am aware that the dilutions ink is going to react with the wetness of the pen, so it's not going to be as vibrant white as one would kind of hope. And that hasn't pulled any colour off. No, well, never mind. I was kind of hoping it would. There we go. Me likey. Me likey lots. So now I want to add some journaling on there. But I think I'm going to add in some journaling that you can't necessarily read. So make sure I get the ink flowing again. That's what your hands are there for. Here we go. So I've put, the heart is like a machine and can be broken just as easily. Sometimes it takes, I missed the S off, a while to fix and repair. I like. And then I'm going to go around the page, just adding in a few just border doodles in the white, just to try and bring it all and tie it all in. Now they should, theoretically, blend just like the others. Trying very hard to avoid the use of black this time, just for a bit of variation. Yeah, I like that. Not bad for somebody who didn't know what was going to happen when he first sat down. Sign it, dated it today, 24th. I'm going to call that done. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up and share the video with all your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now.